We're visiting the Murinan garden in Kyoto, Japan. And as far as Japanese gardens go, this is a relatively new garden. It was built in 1896 during the Meiji period. And this was a time where there was a great deal of Western influence. It was a time of modernization, and we see a lot of Western influence in the surrounding landscape. And the most notable example of that here is the use of lawns. In more traditional Japanese gardens, we would see stone or perhaps moss covering bare ground, but here we see turf grasses starting to be used. Another Western influence that we see is that the landscape, the scenery, is a little bit more flat than what we would see in a more traditional Japanese garden. Another change that we see in Japanese gardens during the Meiji period is the way that water is used in the landscape. In traditional Japanese gardens, we see either water represented by stone or the use of water in ponds. But here we have flowing water in streams, and this was, again, another Western influence. Another notable aspect of this garden is the use of what they call borrowed scenery. And this uses a view that's outside of the garden. In this case, it's the Nashigama Hills in the distance. And it allows a view of that distant scenery and kind of brings it into the garden. And one thing this does is make the garden look larger, and it also can feature a highlight off in the distance.